welcome. My name is Georgia, and you're listening to The Cure on iCannabis Radio. It's Monday evening, and I'm sitting here with my dear producer, Chris. Say hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't even have to. I could have just said it myself. And our special guest, Deana, who we will talk to later on in our show. Amy is coming. She will be here. Don't you worry. If you're here to tune in and hear Amy, don't despair. She'll be here in a minute. We have a pretty fabulous show set up. I can tell you right now, if you don't have a box of tissues handy, you're going to want them. And in fact, I have extras I would share if you were here. We like to be able to share information about the entire range of cannabis users and of activists and those kinds of things, and we like to talk about patients, and we like to talk to patients, and to find that person that's all mixed up in one is what we found in our friend Deana, and her story is pretty amazing. And so you guys will learn more about why Deana is the activist that she is, and how that came to happen, and what she's done with the hand that she has been dealt, and how she has made a magnificent impact and has changed the lives of people in the cannabis community as well as in the HIV and AIDS community forever.
Wow.
Wow, she says.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I feel about you.
Thank you.
Because it's true. Before that, we have some stuff to talk about. We were just listening to Denver City Council talk about the ban on camping in Denver, and for those of you that aren't aware, it's an effort to stop the homeless from sleeping on commercial properties, primarily in Denver, and it's tough. And Chris, feel free to jump in. I mean, I think the situation is really challenging because Albus Brooks, who is the city council person for District 8, which has a chunk of downtown, including the 16th Street Mall, as well as Curtis Park, 5 Points, big portion of Park Hill, has brought this to the forefront because there are businesses who have clearly felt that they lose business because there are homeless people that not only sleep in front of their business, but then spend, unfortunately, time during their business hours what they feel is scaring away their customers or making their customers feel uncomfortable. People also urinate, defecate outside when they don't have another place to do that.
Right. And
when that happens in your business, it makes it challenging. And the city council, the Albus Brooks' approach was to have a ban on sleeping in public, on camping in public.
Right.
And Chris, you have a pretty clear and direct opinion on this solution to the issue.
Yeah, I think it's a crap solution, basically. Can you guys hear me all right? I'm making sure. I'm the producer and asking you if you guys can hear me all right.
I hear you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. They're going to hand out tickets eventually to people for camping, or what they call camping, but what I call not having a place to sleep at night. And those tickets are going to do, what are they going to do? How are homeless people going to pay tickets with what money that they're not making?
With their time that they'll end up spending in the local jails.
Well, yeah, because they'll eventually go to jail because they cannot pay the fine, or don't show up to court because they don't have their Google Calendar.
Or because they didn't
calendar
know.
At all.
Because they didn't.
Or because they don't. Well, I know. I've been on the streets a time or two, and you sometimes lose track of time because you don't worry about it. Because what are you going to do? Where do you have to go to?
Because you don't have to be at the bank before 5 o'clock,
right.
And you don't have to pick up your, kid from daycare at 4:30,
or whatever. You don't have. You just lose all track of time sometimes.
Right.
And especially when you've been out there for a while. I've seen people who don't know what day it is or what year it is, because they've been out there so long. And like I said, they have no way of really getting to court, paying fines and such. So they'll sit these fines out in jail.
So I understand that the ticket isn't a solution. I
Right.
also have to say that that and I know I'm going to catch so much flack from this. I understand how the businesses must
I do too.
feel.
I do too.
Okay.
I've been part of, like, I haven't owned, I've been part of my family's restaurant. You know, we never had homeless people because it was a small town. Like,
Because
but
really,
we've had you know, wanderers, you know, hitchhikers, you know, stop through, and you know, I totally understand being freaked out by somebody sleeping on your business's doorstep, and that the fact that there might be urine or defecation over there.
So what's the solution? What do you do with
Spend
that?
more money on shelters, on
In an economy in which the only
Well,
way that our
gonna-
city is getting business is from the medical marijuana centers.
right, and okay, I had something and I lost it, but
I got you, huh?
I know you
gotcha.
did. Like I was about to
gotcha.
say something.
You got Custer a little speechless. I have
Usually it's my
I have a comment on it.
looks, but now it's my.
Well, it is your looks because you're gorgeous.
Thank
but
you.
I think it's about not being afraid to talk to these people. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's something my parents taught me or something that I've learned throughout my experience as a person or a human being is talk to them. Sit there and have a dialogue with them. Don't create this whole myth or this, like, symbol of a homeless person because they are all different. They all have different stories. They all come from different walks of life. And if you sit there and you have a story with them and you talk to them, even if they are maybe a little mentally unstable, which we do have a huge mental health problem here in Colorado, but
Especially with people that are in transition like that.
exactly, even just that simple point of talking to them, it changes their whole day.
So let me play devil's advocate because I mean
Please do. Please.
Because it's so odd for me as
So
the
apt.
angel. but
Yeah,
so
like, which one has the horns on?
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Right.
now we're a little confused.
right, exactly. So the Denver Post did the article a week or so ago and highlighted the bakery on what's it higher
Snooze.
no higher up what's it called
High Rise.
high rise
Yes.
and where the manager of High Rise went out to this guy that always sleeps in their doorway and asked him to leave. And the way that it was portrayed in the paper was, and this may have been what happened, but was that he shooed him away and he told him he needed to go and you can't
Right.
sleep here. And what I'm envisioning is that the first time that happened, they probably said, "Hey, you okay? Gosh, you got to go. My business is open. You can't stay here. You got to go." And then as it kept happening, the manager, business owner, whomever, got kind of more aggressive and was like, having a conversation was over, and now it was about, dude, you've got to leave.
Right.
And that's what's portrayed. And I feel like that it's to me it's bigger than having a conversation because there's so many other factors at play. As you pointed out, we're talking about some people who have mental illness, other people who, Chris, as you pointed out, have been on the streets for so long that they've kind of lost touch with how
reality.
with
Yeah, with reality, because how can you have a reality when you know, I mean, out in the elements 24/7.
Your reality is survival. Your reality isn't whether or not someone is opening a business at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
And that's why a lot of people, I think, stay down here inside the city, and especially downtown, because they're close to the food, they're close to porta potties that are scattered about the area. It's usually warmer downtown in this, like, at night, because of the concrete and everything. The heat soaks up all that. If you move these people or push these people out, that's what it'll do. It'll drive people out of the city, and it'll drive them out into the suburbs, which will cause more crime.
Highlands Ranch is freaking out right now.
Well, they should
Yeah.
be.
They should be.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be at Applebee's instead of at High Rise.
Right. They're going to be
rather be a high-rise.
up in North Denver or Westminster or down in Aurora or Littleton or wherever else, all these surrounding areas, that's where they're going to go to, because they know that there's this ban in place, and they know that people are going to be...
Because if you're sleeping on one side of Sheridan, you're going to get a ticket or get arrested. If you're sleeping on the other side of Sheridan, you're not.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what's going on right now in Denver, on a city level. On a state level, I know lots of people are probably listening to what's happening on the Capitol. For those of you that didn't realize, last week was the end of the legislative session for 2012, and shockingly, surprisingly,
surprise,
stomach-churningly, they decided to hold a special session for a handful of really, really important bills.
All of them very sensitive.
All of them very sensitive. One of them clearly really important, which is the civil unions bill. And I just have to say, shame on our lawmakers for not pushing that through last week. And I am. There's a special place in hell for people like you, is all I have to say.
Amen.
And
Amen.
so for that, that's the only reason why I'm glad that we're having a special session, is because hopefully we will finally go ahead and push this through. However, along with that is the DUID bill that will not go away. The bill that,
it's like the swamp monster.
You know what? It's like the swamp.
Or a zombie.
It is like a zombie.
Or the
it has no brain.
No, better. The abominable snowman. A little more apt for Denver, the Mile High City.
I kind of like the abominable snowman. Like when you find out that he just had a toothache and then he
I know. I feel like, I hope that the story ends up that innocuous.
That Herbie can help him out, and all he needed was to remove one tooth, and all of a sudden, he realized that he could...
He's such a little cuddly ball of fuzz.
He could just get along with everybody, right?
I think it's possible. I think if you really take the fable that far and do the interpretation, if there is collaboration with the industry and we do try to establish norms through longitudinal studies with the resources we have, it could be that. But
however,
let's play devil's advocate again.
Right.
And say that's not really what's going to be going on here.
That's right.
In the next few days.
And do you want to talk about what they added on to our lovely DUID bill?
Oh, yes. So they had this nice little pork barreling session when they decided to have this emergency hearing. So just for the record, this is not normal. A legislative session would have normally been over on Friday. Yeah. So they introduced a special legislative session. This is kind of a wild card for the politicians to pull out of their ass whenever they don't get their jobs done in the time allotted to them. So, that being said, what they did is they pork barreled these two bills together, SB 117 and SB 1358. So 117 is the DUID bill, which we are all familiar with, the devil with multiple horns. And then this new one coming in is 1358. And what it is it's basically an allocation bill. They're talking about allocating the funds from the CDPHE to certain MMED functions, like staffing, employment fees, insurance, etc., to have a full-time staff to be able to license businesses.
Well, and more importantly, enforcement.
Enforcement as well. Mm-hmm. They're kind of it's like a double-edged sword. Mm-hmm. You have both together, working together, the licensing and the enforcement, because in order to be licensed, you do have to be inspected multiple times. So there's naughty little part to that bill, 1358, which allocates $93,600 to establish a database that law enforcement, it's kind of a blanket term, can access the registry. And no one quite knows the iteration of what this term access means. Does it mean, okay, you get pulled over, you say, I'm a patient, red light, green light, you are, you aren't? Or does it mean, okay, you're a patient, you're on the registry, here's all your information, da-da-da-da-da. Like,
that automatically means that we are assuming that because you're a patient, you're going to test at 9 nanograms.
Exactly. So the way I've described this to people and why it's so dangerous is when you couple these two things together, you say, 1, you're a patient. 2, you have a DUID standard now. And most of our heavy medicators, and Deana can testify to this. Deana probably right now is over 9 mil.
And that's it.
You're
Sound
over 9
asleep.
Exactly.
I am over. Sound catatonic asleep.
After 14 hours
So,
of comatose sleep,
yeah.
she wakes up at 9 nanograms, if not more.
If not more.
So-
before you even touch.
And she's not
anything.
impaired.
Yeah,
By
exactly.
by any
By
other
any
standard, she's not impaired.
So you're going to create this whole
Although her
atmosphere
tongue is
of
green.
fear.
Exactly.
Oh, it's very green,
But
I see, like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's really a gnarly combination because you have the ability to track patients now, and then on top of that, to target patients with a measurable standard of intoxication. What does benefit us a little bit, but is only going to benefit less regular medicators, is in order for you to have your blood drawn, correct, it's a process. So say you go ahead and get pulled over. Okay, cool. Are you a patient? Yes, green light. Have you smoked today? Yes, but about 12 hours ago. Well, I would like to test your blood level. Okay, so say worst case scenario, you have to go get it tested. Say the procedure takes you about 1 to 2 hours. They take you to Denver Health. You're sitting there waiting like a motherfucker for 3 hours, right?
Exactly.
God damn, help me. What happens actually is your physiological mechanisms, you have a very, very sharp drop in your THC nanogram level and the way your body metabolizes it, and it will exponentially drop. So like the like if you take the juxtaposition of an exponential curve, the way it accelerates up, imagine it accelerating down. Same thing happens, but that's only if you're a less frequent user.
Well, you've also got the anxiety issue. You've got that physiological response.
That would
You've
actually
now been
benefit
pulled
you
over.
because your metabolism
exactly,
will
now
increase.
it needs to, but what's to stop them at this point from just riding behind someone, pulling up your plate? I know you're a user. I'm going to pull you over now. If I smell, marijuana, or I'm going to ask. It's an instant
Right,
for them.
exactly, and
Know, so that's what I fear is that they'll
yeah.
be able to target. My clothes smell like marijuana no matter what, because that's what kind of user I am.
And take that and extrapolate
car,
that to every single industry worker.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
I know. Just kind of imagine that. We have to take a little break and thank all of our amazing sponsors. I know that we're all a little nervous at the moment about sponsorship and advertising as well, but George is my ship in the storm. So
I love
go
our
ahead and
advertisers.
call me away.
I'd like to thank our friends over at Noto Urban Garden Supply, downtown Denver's finest hydroponic and organic supply center, located at 1330 27th Street in Denver. Phone number 303-296-3424. They have all house and garden products, custom soil mixes, Gold Label Cocoa, Rockwell, Hortilux, Quantum, Gravita. We are serving the needs of the commercial and hobby cultivist. Come see Levi, who, as you know, does our monthly grow spot for fresh in-store brewed compost tea, free for all customers. That's Noto Urban Garden Supply, downtown Denver's finest hydroponic and organic supply center, 1330 27th Street. And we'll be back with The Cure in just a flash.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Rick Cusick from High Times Magazine, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
There are condoms everywhere.
I like it though.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Cure, and part of The Cure includes prevention.
Oh my God, I totally did not see the prophylactic on the microphone.
Yes. Dina was making sure that I knew how to properly
practice safe radio.
Chris said I wasn't allowed to put it over this.
Yeah.
And I don't think
we had the extra large.
I was going to say
okay.
you need like the extra
sizes.
large Magnum
Yeah.
for that.
And see, here's the XL.
Maybe maybe the specialty order.
Specialty order.
Is that a flavor?
Is yours a flavor?
That's a good. Nope, it's an extra large.
Yeah,
Put that down. Put that one down. Yeah, let's get just a basic.
You always ruin all my fun, Georgia.
I
Jesus
do.
Christ.
Okay, here's a normal size one.
Normal. I just for those of you listening, if you are cocky enough, to believe that those were for you, don't call Amy. Like, she didn't want to date you. I don't want her to date you. So
Georgia is my filtering process.
But if you fit this one,
or this one,
or that one,
or this one,
yeah, and you have to use these, then maybe I'll let you date my girl.
Then you get through the first layer of the net of filtering process.
Doesn't mean you can meet her yet. Just means I might take a few questions from you. Get some information.
Get to the question round, the 20 question round.
There
we
need the
go.
social security number. Yeah, it's hard.
Credit card
number. Yeah, we do a full background check. I mean,
do you have any Russian brides, for example?
Right.
That's generally a disqualifying category there. So.
Yes, exactly. So our special guest today is
very, very special.
Is our friend Deana, and doing an introduction for you is really challenging because you are so many things. You are so many things. You are a voice for a lot of people who are extremely intimidated to speak up for themselves. And I don't want to tell your story for you, but I just want everyone to know that the reason why we wanted to talk to you, actually, and why you wanted to be on our show is because you have a really important story to share about being a medical cannabis patient, about being a woman, about having a diagnosis that means that you're going to spend the rest of your life taking care of that diagnosis, about being a mom, about being this strong female, about being a wonderful friend, about being a human being who cares about other human beings on this planet.
Okay, you're going to make me cry in the first 30 seconds.
That's okay.
You already.
People are ready to bring that to
Tuck it back in there.
Yeah.
Tuck it back in, Deana. It's not ready yet.
And Amy knows I'm a la-la, so.
But I need you to go back a little bit. I need you to go back and tell people how and why you became a medical marijuana patient, kind of where your life took you that brought you to this place.
Well, I had, marijuana's been part of my life forever. It was around my family and things like that, so it wasn't a big surprise, recreationally. I would say, I had smoked, during junior high school occasionally, but I was overall a pretty good student. So, in 1999, through I had multiple surgeries, but that's when I really started using it for nausea. So I kind of knew it helped with nausea and getting, and that was pretty my my marijuana world.
Sure.
But then on September of 2008, I started getting real sick. I had 23 surgeries. I had 7 different machines put inside me, spinal cord. I still have one in me now, my 7th. But it sends an electrical current up through my spinal cord. I had a total hysterectomy. So I had all kinds of surgeries. I had 20 units of foreign blood beginning in 1984. So, we had already sat, my son and I, he's 20 now, but, from the time he was 7 till the time he was 16, we had struggled a lot with my health anyway. But we always learned to manage around it, and he's an amazing kid. So I started getting sick, had gone to the same doctor for 16 years, kept referring me out. Finally, I get a call that says, Deana, you need to come into the office right away. And I think, great, I got cancer. Don't they say that? Great. Okay.
Sure, that's the first thing.
That's the first thing that comes to my brain is
Yeah.
cancer, because I've been tested through everything under the sun. I think because I had this laundry list of surgeries.
Right.
So they're testing me 9 billion times. Is what I'm thinking. So she came back and she said, and this was a nurse practitioner who had just come into his practice, and she had come from Planned Parenthood. So my file with him was so big, it was 2 things. So she said, I'm going to go get the second file. So she comes back, we're going to take some blood. They call, I got to come in. Great, I got cancer. Where is it? Driving. Here I go, sit down. She sits me down, puts my hand on my shoulder and says, you have HIV. I said, excuse me? She said, you've tested positive for HIV. And actually, I believe you're way sicker than that. We need to get you into somewhere right away, because there's something really wrong.
And your physician of 16 years had never once tested you, despite the fact that you had been ill for quite some time.
And
with
I had
a myriad of symptoms.
Every symptom, every single symptom.
What are those symptoms?
Those symptoms are. Sorry, I got a little tongue tattled there. The symptoms start with can start with a rash. And I got the shingles a couple times. They can be nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, sores, night sweats, fever chills, wasting disease, because you can't keep food in you. So, all of these things were happening to me, but they were like, okay, something's wrong with your intestine, here, have a pill. Something's wrong with this, have a pill. Here's this, have a pill. And I got to the point where I was on 18 medications and 52 pills a day, 60 milligrams of Oxycontin every 4 hours for 3.5 years.
Wow.
And I finally said, no, I am going to start reducing my meds.
And this was before
prior
or
to my diagnosis.
Prior to
my diagnosis, just prior.
Mm-hmm.
So I had suffered neuropathy really bad. I had trigger point injections into my abdomen every 6 weeks for 3.5 years, which means basically they take a needle, shove it in the nerve, push lidocaine in it so it numbs it. It'd give me about 3-4 weeks so I could be a mom. I could go to the grocery store. I could do laundry. I could go to the parent teacher.
Yeah.
But then the pain would come back, and I'd have to. And I did that for 3.5 years. So again, I'm the human pincushion. Why are they not testing me? What do you mean I have HIV? So I go and sit and have to tell my 16-year-old son that I have HIV. And what are we going to do? And he's like, well, we're going to learn. That's what we're going to do first. My son's very brain reading. We're going to learn.
Very mature.
And he is. So we're going to learn. Okay. I don't know what to do. I'm pretty numb at this point,
Sure.
So then I went in on November 11th for my first infectious disease doctor at university. And he tells me, takes my blood and everything. I go back December 2nd. We're sitting there, and he says, well, I've got your blood work, and you have 12 T cells. And I said, excuse me?
So for those of our listeners, what is a normal T cell level?
A normal T cell level is 1,500. Okay.
So you were at not even like 1,000th of that percentage.
Right. So under 200 is considered AIDS. Okay. So under 200 T cells is considered AIDS. And I at that point had 12 whole little T cells, And T cells are what fight your diseases in your body. So you don't die of AIDS. You die because your body can't fight off whatever infection you get.
Right. It's your immunological
immune system that
function.
cannot fight, and found out, and he told me basically, and after he said 12, I pretty much heard the Charlie Brown teacher, wah, 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 wah. Didn't hear a whole lot of that. So I said, are you telling me I don't have HIV? You're telling me I have AIDS? And he said, no, I'm telling you have advanced AIDS. And he hit the paper. And I was like, okay.
This was your primary physician.
This is now the new infectious disease doctor telling me for the very first time that I have 12 T cells and I have AIDS.
And what did you know, Deana? I mean, I think if a doctor would have told me that, I'm not sure that I would have understood how significant that is.
Well, because what my son and I did is we read between October and December 2nd, we read. So to try and figure out, what it was. Then you get this wonderful, glorious call from the state health department that just makes you feel like you're just disease scum. But who have you ever slept with in your whole life? And, but they do give you this binder of stuff. So
and
we read.
They track everyone with a communicable.
Yeah, the moment I tested positive, my doctor's office sent notification to the state. So I didn't even know that they had contacted. The state contacted me and said, we've received a positive HIV report on you. You need to come down here and talk to us. I'm still dealing with the diagnosis.
Sure.
So they gave us that, and we started reading through it, and the doctor had told me to get my affairs in order, so we had sat down and.
So let me back you up for a second.
Yeah.
So your son is 16.
Son is 16.
And if you don't mind, you are.
I'm 43. Well, I was 40 at the time.
40 at the time, and wow, I mean.
Yeah.
Get your affairs in order. You just found out that you
have maybe 6 months to live.
And you're to get your affairs in order, and you look at your 16-year-old and you do what?
I tell him, honey, mommy has 12 T cells. Because at this point we know what it means. So he leaned over and picked up the binder that they had given us, and he ripped out the front of it, and he goes, well, I guess we don't need the HIV part, just the AIDS part, because we never got the transition into AIDS. So I guess we can throw this shit away. Now you need to take your meds, Mom, and we need to fight. And you need to help people learn that this is, you should have been tested. How did the doctors not find this? And he was very angry. So then we had to prepare to-do lists. What would he do if he found my body? Would he call the neighbor?
Did you do this right away?
Right away.
I mean, you sat down and you're like, okay, I'm going to plan.
Yep, that first week. And said that, He goes, "We're
you
just
thought you
going
might
to do
wake
the
up
best."
one morning, or not wake up.
Not
one
wake
morning.
up.
Not wake up.
I
one
was
morning.
so sick at that time. I mean, I was so sick. I had gone down to 103 pounds. I was sunken. I was white. I had sores. I was puking all the time. I couldn't sit still. Felt like bugs were crawling on me constantly. It was horrible. But it was, we can lay down and die. Okay, well, let's make that plan. Okay, well, we've got that plan now, so now let's figure out the one other plan that's going to function. And that means we're going to do something with this. We are not going to let this be in vain.
Yeah.
And Mom, I will totally support you if you choose to do that.
Oh,
and so it
what
was
a
my
great
son.
son.
And so being so sick in the beginning, so we did the to-do list on what he'd do if he found me, and then we planned the funeral, and then got everything in order. I put all my bills in one place so he could have one place to call. I put extra food in the fridge so if people came over there would be food in the fridge, so made all these arrangements, and then he said, "We're going to fight." So we did. So I started taking my meds, went through a really rough couple months, and I found out about, I could get my license now.
Right.
Medical
smoke,
marijuana.
yeah, I
medical
could smoke
marijuana
now,
registry.
yeah. So I went down to THC and got my certificate thing, and then I got my red card, and I went down to the dispensary down on 6th and Calumet, and found some amazing people in the Cooksons, and they...
That's Lori and her
and
husband.
Andy. Yeah,
Yes,
so Lori and Andy Cookson and Juan
people.
Diaz and his wife, Lori, and I walked in there just broken in every way, shape, or form. Mentally, physically, it was just nothing. So I could not keep the meds inside me. The ones that were going to save my life, I'm trying to fight, I can't keep in me. Now I puke and I'm having to pick them out because they don't give you extra and you can't miss a dose.
Yeah.
And they're
So
very,
here
very
I'm trying,
expensive.
exactly, I'm trying to get this stuff in me, but I can't.
And what's your medical insurance at that point in time?
At that point in time, I have United Healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So I have healthcare. So,
because that point in time you were working for...
I was working for Quest. I had been there for 10 years, working for various CEOs, CFOs, presidents, vice presidents for the last 10 years. I've worked in corporate America since 1984. And soon as they, I had health insurance at that time. I had life insurance. I was paying extra of $500,000. I had my home insured. Everything was, prepared.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going to take a quick break while you think of that story. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, you're going to talk a little bit more about
how I learned how to stay alive.
Exactly. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies. It's your mountain source for meds. The best clones in the state. Check out mmrockies.com. That's mmrockies.com for their plant selection and its ever-changing list of the strains that are available. They're open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. Located 1 minute off of I-70 at exit 203. Go to the third stoplight, make a right and immediate left into the parking lot next to Carlos Miguel's Mexican restaurant, which sounds really good right now,
I was
actually.
say, right there next to it.
I know. I'm hungry, yeah.
It's
worth the drive just for the
donuts.
It doesn't sound as good as Mexican, but I might have to have a donut. That's mmrockies.com, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Rick Cusick from High Times Magazine, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
The law offices of Edson, Maiden, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
He's really cute too, by the way, that Warren Edson.
He is. He's a little stunner.
He's so
just
cute.
like that Georgia girl. Oh my goodness.
Welcome back to The Cure with Georgia and Amy, and we are talking to our dear friend Deana. And Deana is in the middle of describing the first time that she went into a medical marijuana, then dispensary, now medical marijuana center, to learn about how to take the take the cannabis that's going to help her be able to take the prescription medications to help alleviate her symptoms from AIDS.
Yeah, it had just gotten really, really bad, and so I went in there and they started to educate me on what a sativa was, what an indica was, what piece of candy did, what tincture did, and things like that, and I started learning, there's not a joint get high. I started learning the science and the medicine behind it. So through a lot of trial and error at the beginning, but I could eat a piece of candy in the morning, and then I could, depending upon the gag reflex at that point, I could vaporize, and then I could wait if everything was cool, then I could take the medicine. I could then smoke, and then about an hour later get food in me.
Nice.
And so then I could get 500 to 1,000 calories into me, and then I would vaporize, smoke afterwards, and use tincture to keep it inside me.
Yeah.
And so, then I busted out in the shingles. So they brought over this marijuana cream. My son, bless his heart, putting on gloves, rubbing this stuff all over my back.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the prescription stuff for shingles, I did the shingles 5 times.
Wow.
Prescription
and that's very
stuff.
painful.
Oh my God, the prescription stuff would take me, 2 to 3 months to totally get rid of all of them. The marijuana cream took 4 days.
Wow.
4 days. And
wow.
I mean, so I started learning, okay, you can eat this ginger cookie and it'll help your intestinal cramping. And I can eat this lemon flavored hard candy sucker and I can keep my food in me.
Yeah.
I can have this tincture and not walk around smelling like weed. It was helping the neuropathy pain, and so slowly I started eliminating prescription drugs.
Yeah.
So I got from 18 prescriptions and 52 pills a day down to 5 prescriptions and 10 pills a day, and no narcotics is where I'm at now.
Wow.
So yes, very much.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
That's a really good advocacy standpoint for using alternative treatments. Generally, when people think of medical marijuana, they think of the cannabis flower, they think of oil, and you're talking about using topicals and using edibles in a very, very specific way that you titrated for your own body.
Right.
Right.
And that really is what then I started feeling a little better. Then my meds I started getting a little stronger. And again, my son's fight, and I'm on fight. But, it was like, I can't let this be in vain. So, started reading more about it, getting more involved, feeling better, and then I was approached by the Denver Post. And
Oh, that's right. That's when you were the cover of the Denver Post.
Right. So that's
She's
what
famous.
kind of brought me into the community. I hadn't been to anything before. I hadn't been, other than the one dispensary that I had gone to,
What year was that? That was 2010?
No, that was 2009.
Okay.
So that was 2009. So then in early 2010 is when I was contacted by the Denver Post. And they were looking for a terminal patient who was using it to live, was what they told me. That they were going to do a section on the patient, And my son and I had been talking about a voice. We needed a voice, so we would just, what is the voice? And then here comes, knock, 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 Denver Post. We're like, okay, here's a voice. Yeah. I guess we'll use this one. I didn't mean immediately, because I had to, wow. So I sat down with them. I decided that I had to get a message out. I had to get the message out that HIV/AIDS is a human disease. Human. It is not gay. It is not drug addicts only. It is human.
Yeah.
There are approximately 1 million people in the United States living with HIV right now. 1/3 of them are women. And yet you hear nothing. Nothing. But if you hear HIV, it's gay men and drug users.
Right.
Well, there's a whole community of women out there that are being completely ignored, that have nowhere to go, that have no support, that feel like they're, because when I know everything I looked at to get support, everything was gay men. I'd go to things, it'd be 50 gay men and me, which is great. I love all the gays. But it became, hello, can I talk to somebody with a vagina?
Someone to relate to.
And so
I just wanted to talk to someone with a vagina.
Yeah, so Zach was like, Mom, this is one way you can do this. And then wanting to share that marijuana was a plant, and that, we could, watching it raise my T cells, watching my viral load go down, watching my son learn about marijuana with me. Zero has never taken a hit in his life. It's been around him his whole life. I've been totally honest with his whole life. But he it's not something he wants to do. He'd like to work in the industry, but he has to be 21.
I think that's amazing, because we do have that stigma and, the 1,000-foot rule with the schools. And
right.
We're talking about close proximity, sharing bathrooms and kitchen sinks, and he prefers not to use cannabis
at all.
That's a great argument against that. I just wanted to put that in there. But go ahead and continue.
So even as a young one,
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't tell me it is, because my son's been in the house.
Right.
His choice, his thing, So I told him that I would do it on those two conditions, that it was HIV/AIDS was a disease. Look at me. I don't look like I have AIDS. Please take a look in the mirror. You don't know. If you see me at a bar all in a cool dress, la la la, you're going to talk me up. Are you going to think I have AIDS? No. So I had to be able to say, guess what? Protect yourself. Yeah. If you find this early, then yes, lots of condoms.
Lots of condoms.
If you find it early, then, they're able to give you a one-pill regimen. You're able to, not go into the advanced stages of AIDS. You're able to find it early. Where with me, they found it, I was in the full-blown stage because I had never been tested. So it was, and this medicine saved my life. This medicine I have learned to use.
What's your T-cell count at today?
Well, actually, we'll do a drum roll, because I found out this morning, 696.
Wow.
Which is the highest it has ever been.
Wow, so
it is, I'm announcing it first here. I didn't even put it on Facebook.
That's
figured I would put it and announce it here.
That's amazing.
So what that means is that I'm getting a little bit stronger. So if I get a cold, I'm not going to die. I can take some, whoops. There we go.
She's got a small, cute little head.
And so he told me 696 today, and I just was like, "Can you repeat that for me? Can you repeat?" He said, "Well, 4 away from 700." I was like, "Oh my God." And so it does show that with hard work and with changing your diet and doing your meds and using this medicine, and that was my point. I wanted to go, I didn't realize it was going to be on the front page. I thought it was going to be a little center section on the side, doodah.
Go big or go home.
But hey, that's the only way I seem to know how to do it, you know. So that was the case, and and shortly before the article, so in December of 2009, I lost my job with Quest. So I had 10 minutes to pack after 10 years. I then lost my $500,000 life insurance.
Now,
I then lost my health care.
Related to Quest or related to you?
Quest. Quest found out I was sick. They then moved me to a cubicle all by myself. Then in the first round of layoffs, they stuck me in the group, and then I was done job reduction. So that's when I lost my health insurance, my life insurance, my job, and at that time, I'm making $70,000 a year, and then watch all those dominoes fall, and then my house go into foreclosure. I have to, like half of the rest of the country, with
That's
everybody else. I keep telling myself, you're not a failure. A whole lot of people did it. But it was, again, lay down or get up, lay down and get up, lay down and get up. So get up. And I started attending various marijuana functions. I started getting involved in the community. I started meeting amazing people. I started meeting some not so nice people, but, those are called lessons learned. Hard lessons
That's
learned.
what those people are called.
Yes, lessons learned.
Lessons.
Yes.
Lessons.
That'll be our code.
You get 2
code
or
for
3
asshole.
beers than me, I call them douchebags.
That's my son's favorite term. Yes, so, yeah. So I started being able to go out there. I was then started talking with Amy, and she asked me to speak at one of their functions, and so I told my story. I did a live HIV test on stage so that people could see. It's basically a Q-tip swab on the top of your mouth, a Q-tip swab on the bottom, sits there for 20 minutes, then it tells you whether it has a possible antibody or not. It's that simple. You can get them through mail order.
They even have take-home
They
ones
have
now.
take-homes. You can go to Walgreens, but if you go to stdalert.com, you can get tests for everything at home, any disease or any type of test that you need. And that is where I came. Testing.
Right.
Get tested. Women, get tested. When you have your annual exam, get tested. Men, when you turn your head and cough, get tested. When, to be able to protect yourself, the doctors are not going to ask you. But I wanted to show that, A, there's women out there who get it, who are not gay men, and never used a drug in my life, other than marijuana, and it literally saved my life. It took me out of hell. It took me being able to get out of my bed, to the porch, to the backyard, to the car, to the marijuana event, to speak, to be able to show my support on various other fundraisers, to be able to put a face with, all potheads don't look alike, and we're not all potheads. And that, this is a movement, and this is something that needs to happen, and for me personally, it's all about the patient, because I'm a patient, and it saved my life.
Yeah.
And then being able to go into, changing it shows the difference in the climate, because in the beginning, the cooks can come to my house. I could go in there, I could talk, and we could have this intimate. They were part of my doctor and my physician, and everything was a circle. It was, and they talked with my physician. My physician signed, so forth. And now the state has completely taken that piece of it away from me. Now, granted, I'm blessed that I am still able to purchase meds. I'm blessed that that this is an option for me, and I forever this will be a message for me because it saved my life.
That's right. We're going to take a quick break before we ask Deana a couple more questions and wrap up. We will be back with The Cure on iCannabis Radio in just a minute.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Hi, I'm Rick Cusick from High Times Magazine, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio.
Welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to The Cure with Georgia and Amy, and our special guest is our friend Deana. And Deana, you were talking a little bit about how your experience led you to now be a pretty significant educator and activist in the HIV/AIDS community as well as in the cannabis community. So what are some things that you think women in particular need to know about if they feel like they need to reach out to other women who have HIV and AIDS?
Well, I think, number one and first and foremost, you're not alone. You're really not. There are, again, 1 million people in the United States right now living with HIV. There are 4 million people out there living with Hep C. So, as far as HIV, you've got 1 in 500 in the United States, and Hep C, 1 in 100. Those are some staggering numbers if you think about it.
They are staggering.
And so, again, get tested, But on the other side of that, you're not alone. The Empowerment Program has an AIDS project. Actually, they work in depth with you, helping you get back on your feet. They have a Friday afternoon support group. Sisters of Color is located on 8th and just off 8th and Federal. You've probably driven by their building. It's big, giant, got like a painted mural on the side as well.
Sure.
So that is a place. Sisters of Color is an amazing place, as well as the Empowerment Program. So the Empowerment Program is located at 1600 York Street, and the Sisters of Color is located just east of 8th and Federal.
Do they have websites by any chance?
And let's see, the Empowerment Program does, empower.info at empowermentprogram.org. The other thing is I've got a Facebook page that's called Hope for Her Too. So Hope, HOPE, the number 4, Her, 2, TOO. And that was really, again, I was alone in the beginning. I felt that there was no women out there. There was so much awareness on breast cancer, which I've contributed, supported, and thank goodness it's there. But hey, there's a whole group of women over here that are lost. We're aunts, we're mothers, we're sisters, we're friends. So if you go to that page, I share a lot of information there, where to get tested, for where women can go. If you just need someone to talk to, I'm very involved also in, various aspects of the gay community. Trying to go down to Charlie's and speak about HIV, going down to, various other places to try and get the word out. And not only HIV, but marijuana is a medicine. Whether you like it or not, it is. And if you don't believe it, look at me.
Well, I think one of the things that's so important about your story is that cannabis allowed you to take your pharmaceutical meds.
It saved my life.
And without that, who knows where you may have been, because you weren't able to.
I wouldn't have been here.
To tolerate.
Honestly, I would not be here, because if I wouldn't have been able to keep those meds in me, I was so sick at that point, I would not be here. And that is, nobody can ever tell me any different. Marijuana saved my life. Learning how to use it and educate myself, learning to read these laws, learning to get involved in the community, learning that I can marry these two communities together. Hey, guess what, guys? While we're educating on the marijuana, guess what? Why don't you get tested?
I think it's funny. Right. It's actually an appropriate marriage, because both of them have been taboo subjects at some point, and we really, aside from really well-informed sex ed agencies and certain
which hardly exist at this point,
which are very rare.
Exactly.
We don't really know the statistics, which I think you do have some for us.
Yeah.
Just to kind of help educate myself and Georgia included, but also the listeners out there.
Well, and again, to remember that, HIV is transmitted by blood, semen, vaginal fluid, and breast milk. So, and Hep C is transmitted by the blood. So, again, trying to make sure if you're going to kiss someone, you're not going to get HIV. So if you hug someone, you're not going to get HIV. If you use a toilet, you're not going to get HIV. If you are doing the dirty and doing the nasty and aren't being protected and someone has it and you forgot to put one of those on, then, the rate of transmission is staggering.
Right.
So again, we've got 1 out of 500 people in America has HIV. And that is known. That's what we know about. And these numbers are based up from the CDC that I got off their particular website. The incubation, you've got, certain incubation periods, certain symptoms can appear with HIV 2 weeks up to 20 years later. So again, test annually. You can have symptoms, you cannot have symptoms, and it's not those just two diseases out there. You got to remember that there are, herpes and gonorrhea and those types of diseases. It's bottom line, I came out to say I'm a human being, I had sex, I had a lot of surgeries, I had blood transfusions. Do I know how I got it? No, but because I look the way I do, because I was in corporate America, because I was in that structured place of both taboos, I wasn't tested. And because of that, I've had to fight every day. Right. But chose to say, no, we're going to fight. We're going to say this is a medicine. We're going to educate as far as we can. We're going to give women a place to go. We're going to, find a community that we can be out in, that we don't have to be tabooed. The stigma out there is so huge. And we're not all Magic Johnson. We don't have Magic Johnson's healthcare. We don't have his dietitian. We don't have all of the stuff that he has. I can't get health insurance.
I can't dunk.
I've got a giant pin sticking out of my arm, and they said, well, too bad, so sad, you got your status and no money, so here's 20 Percocet and see you later. I'll tell you, I've still got the prescription in my purse, and I went home and took me some Tinkster.
But I think the key message that you provide is that you are not alone. You have a community, and you have resources, and you have people undergoing common experiences as you. So you have people to fall back on. So don't despair and don't feel alone. You do have people you can reach out to.
Well, the community, I'll tell you, there's been a pretty tight-knit group of y'all that have kind of taken me in and made me feel like that, give me the strength that I am doing the right thing, that I did do the right thing by going on the front page, I do the right thing by speaking out, and that, that's an important piece of who I've become, based on turning some really crappy lemons into some lemonade.
That's right. Well, and you know what? nothing changes until something changes.
Yep.
And so you're not going to change anyone's mind until someone as articulate and intelligent
Beautiful and
beautiful
stunning.
as you, Deana,
Make me blush.
comes out and decides that whatever you think people might think about you doesn't matter.
No.
That what matters is you have a message. that
Hear
you
me
want people
today.
to hear, that you want people to hear.
Yeah.
And I have to say that we, Amy and I, are so honored that you were on our show today.
Thanks for having me. It was
it-
little.
Oh
Thank
my
you
gosh,
guys.
She had to bust the Kleenex out not once, but 3 times.
So-
I counted.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say that that your son is outrageously lucky to have you as a mom, and for as long as you get to do what you get to do, the world is blessed to have you here.
Okay, my turn.
The other thing I want to say before we need to wrap
Well,
up.
Georgia, both of you, all of you, Chris, loving y'all, but you make me keep going because that is it. It is the message. It is get tested. It is if you do have it, you're not alone, and that you've got a message, you've got a medicine, you've got a community, you've got people out there,
family.
and you guys are my family now.
Canna family.
Canna family.
Well, and your son must be so proud of you, and your
He's a good boy.
Your legacy forever will be your strength of character and your caring of other human beings.
So please keep
Thank
fighting.
you. Yes.
You fight a beautiful battle. There's actually a Gandhi quote that really reminds me of you, and it's learn like you're never going to die and live like you're going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have
And
that poster on my wall.
I
Yeah.
think
I
that
literally do.
quote
In my house, I have
really
that
does.
poster in my wall.
It embodies you quite well. Well, we need to wrap up.
On my wall.
Can I say one thing really
Please
quick?
do.
So Deana made a bucket list when she learned that she had a terminal diagnosis, and on her bucket list was to meet a gentleman by the name of Peyton Manning.
Yes,
Who is really freaking hot.
It's been forever.
I don't
And
think
he's
it.
outside right now.
Peyton!
You can smack him.
I would have told her to put some perfume on and
Yeah.
and pop up the coochies, but I just have to say that I don't think it's a coincidence that he is now a Bronco. I just don't think it's a
No,
coincidence.
and he's one that we've talked about. Maybe we can get him in the community and have him bring something to the community in Colorado. So my hope is I get to meet him. My hope is I get to talk to him. My hope is that he's going to open a door, because we need a big name, somebody to open the door for the women. And if it's Peyton Manning, that is women and men alike. And I want to someday see the NFL in red on December 1st for World AIDS Day instead of just
I think
pink
that would
for
be
October.
great. That would be
I'd like to
amazing.
see him take in charge and see. Let's turn the NFL red and remember the HIV/AIDS world on top of everything else. So that's my
Right.
dream. That's my bucket. I think Chris is going to help me sneak over to some
Hey,
Dove Valley Ranch.
we have how many months to do that? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's May. We got about 7 months.
So yes, we're
It's
practicing.
doable.
Yes,
We can do
But
it.
I was telling Georgia, it's a real dream now. It's like tangible.
Yeah.
Before it was just my bucket. Okay, I'm going to meet Peyton Manning. Now I'm like, there's a chance I could meet Peyton Manning.
There's a chance. There's
So,
a chance.
go Peyton.
So Deana, thank you so much. It's been
Cool.
it's
Thank
been
you,
more than a
guys.
pleasure to have you on the show.
I have some updates for the shows following us this week. On Tuesday, we have Sexpot Radio with the lovely Hemptress December and Jenny Cush, on which they'll have Tony Bruza Norton Abrias from River Rock, and they'll be discussing the results of all the special session of the legislative period. So these last few days, what passed, what didn't, what happened on the floor, all the crazy drama. And
their main topic of interest is going to be a pretty controversial suggestion made by the medical marijuana industry group that made a suggestion to the Denver City Council that there be a full-on ban on outdoor advertising in the cannabis
Yes,
industry.
I saw
This
that.
could
I
get a
saw
little
that. Yeah.
heated.
Yeah, I'm all ready to get heated. 'cause
Georgia's gonna be in the audience, holding up signs like "boo" and "yay" and
I'm
hiss.
I am waiting to hear what they have to say in particular, having already spoken to the executive director of MIG, and just
Which
waiting-
is Mike Elliott.
Which is
for
Mike
those
Elliott.
who are uninformed.
And so I'm very curious to see how their conversation goes tomorrow night. That's at 8:00.
Yes, so please tune in. That'll be very contestuous and interesting. Wednesday we have the Thunderdome with Crunchy and Scott, culinary creativeness and sassiness all in one place. Thursday, Overgrow the Radio with Stickman and a special guest, I'm assuming.
Well, I was going to add something to the Thunderdome real quick. They passed the homeless ban.
Yeah.
And so Crunchy and the guys are going to come in, and on the main site, on our main page, they're going to be talking about this in about an hour or so. They're going to be down here talking about that and what went down.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have next week with The Cure with Georgia and Amy, we have Greg Dower with his monthly Day in Cannabis History segment, and our new grow tip with Levi from Nodo Urban Garden and Supply. And I would like to graciously thank this week's sponsors, Mile High Wellness, Nodo Urban Garden Supply, Edson Mayton and Mats, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Mile High Wellness again, Medical Marijuana 101, and Run on Grass. And especially I really, really want to thank all of you cannabis warriors out there who went to the Capitol today and testified. And all of you supporting the civil unions bill who went out in force. I really, really do appreciate your effort. And I do hate to say that, but it was defeated. But you know, we have the power there. And
we're going to just keep talking.
We got a special legislative session, so let's keep fighting.
Keep fighting.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Mwah.
Mwah, mwah.
Kisses. We like to kiss.